All right, we are live with a notification from Google. What's this say? Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. Okay, I'm going to have to try that one of these days. All right, welcome all. Yeah, I knew Hangouts going away. But that's going to be replaced with, actually, I forget. Anyway, welcome to this Saturday Night Live show. I got a little piece of history here, the HTC Evo 3D. Some of you may remember this phone. Didn't last very long, so it was clever watching a screen in 3D, right? All right, so this is a supporter webcast stream. One of our supporters has not been on for a while. So, Timo, if you're watching, this one's for you. You are sponsoring this show. But you are nowhere to be found. It was kind of late notice. So this one's for Tim. If he's watching, a longtime supporter of the channel. I'll give it a few more minutes, then we'll go into the topic of Linux Newbies, the premiere of Linux Newbies. Raw. Yeah, I'm still seeing, continuing to see Linux news that is rather disappointing. It's going the wrong way. Frostbite, Yugi, Yan, Unchained, Derp. You have a W version of the HTC Evo from Sprint. But retired phone and early 4G model. Okay. Yeah, HTC stands for Help This Company. I don't think they're doing too well. They used to be one of the premier Android phone makers, you know, with their dual speakers, Beat speakers, but the last couple of years they kind of faded. So they still make phones, but I'm not sure why. I still have the HTC One Max, big 6-inch phone with dual speakers. Yeah, I keep it for like a music player. Why not? So how's it going? Yeah, I was catching up on the new, the Purism phone news. Very disappointing to say the least. But we'll talk about that maybe in a future topic. Yeah, looks like another dud. I hope not. I really hope not, but I don't like what I see so far. Robert Fitzpatrick, what's up? Welcome. If you haven't already, check out the latest my review of the Zorin OS 15, the Ultimate Edition. It rocks. It is a superb candidate for a national Linux desktop. It just works. Modified version of GNOME. You know, GNOME, the GNOME desktop is not my favorite version of Linux, but Zorin did that one very well. With the proper extensions, GNOME is usable. And I tested it as a full install. Yeah, so check it out. Derp says, what happened to Purism? The phone is coming out this year. It's on pre-order. If you want to pre-order it, it's supposed to be a true open source phone, I guess, where you have control. It makes sense. Can you buy for $200? Nope. $300, $400, $500? Almost $700. Anyway, so yeah, the phone's coming out this year. You can pre-order it now for almost $700. I went to the specs of the phone. It's kind of light on specs. It says, you know, memory, storage, all this. When it went down to speaker, at least one. Good. One speaker. All right. Check my email here. All right. Yeah, so nothing happened to Purism. Just go to their website. They're selling laptops. I think they start at about $1,600. The phones are going to start about $650, somewhere around there. So take it as you will. But I think the pricing, I think the marketing is all wrong in my opinion. But, you know, we can talk about that. It says sale on top left. I know, Derp. I know. I know. You know, it's check out a wonderful live show that comes out of Canada. They have a professional setup. I mean, a truly professional setup on a on a budget. They've done very well with supporters. Check out Category 5 Technology TV. They did a review of the Pine Book, a $99 Pine Book. Yeah, see, products like that, that's not going to convince Windows users to switch over. So that's pricey, yes, yeah. I agree. We've talked about Linux products to buy like a desktop. That $400 is the sweet spot. Anything higher is going to be problematic. And that's all that I can say about that. So yeah, so Microsoft has no reason to worry about competition still, or yet, you know. All right, 2-minute warning and we'll start the show, Linux Newbies. I sent out about 20 invitations to all the supporters, so I know some of you or some of the people had plans and stuff, so completely understandable. I didn't know I was doing this until really today. Yeah, so you have Cat 5 on the watch list, Unchained. Cool. You know, I almost went to a concert tonight. Pennsylvania, there's a place not too far from where I live. It's a casino racetrack, and the Average White Band is playing tonight. Some of you might remember the Average White Band. They're still around making CDs. The couple, well, 5 guys from Scotland, funky jazz music. They are playing tonight. I was like, oh man, that would be fun to go to. Oh well. Did not make it. Part of the reason was it was raining too. It was kind of gloomy. So, but yeah, check out Category 5. I'll give them a plug. Category 5 Technology TV. They do one live show a week on from Canada. I think on Tuesdays. Very professional setup on a budget. They're doing it right, and they deserve all the support they get. Awesome, friendly, user-friendly team out of Canada. Jonathan C., welcome. How are you? Yep. Average White Band, Funky Rhythms. Yeah, check out their latest CD on their website. It's called Inside Out. It's a combination of new tunes and live tracks. I call them the grandfathers of funk. Yep, pick up the pieces. Doing pretty good, Jonathan? Yeah. What was the name of the band? Average White Band, or AWB. AWB for short. Yeah, they've been around since '73, I think. Jordan Avis is in the house. Hello, Jordan. Welcome. All right, so let's get started with this, the first Linux Newbies live cast. Like I said, if any, I send out emails to join us, about 19 people. I'm the 20th person. Like I said, it was very late notice, so we'll see. So let's get started with the show. If you have any questions, any newbies have any questions, post them in the chat. This series is designed for almost 1 billion Microsoft Windows users who still cannot switch to Linux, who are probably still laughing at us in spite of what we do to try to increase Linux market share. I don't like, putting aside Chromebooks, I don't like what I see so far as a Windows user that promotes Linux, at least as an alternative or to try it. Yes, Category 5 Technology TV, derp, yeah. Or Cat 5 Technology TV. That's exactly what it is, yes. They do a live show once a week. That was the name. So Linux newbies, let me ask you guys a question. Define Linux. How would you define Linux to a newbie? Anybody want to give it a shot? So you're talking to a person knows nothing about Linux. How would you define Linux to that Windows person? Who wants to take a crack? Ubuntu, welcome. Who wants to take a crack at defining Linux briefly? All right, derp, yeah, Category 5 Tech TV, check it out. Anybody want to take a crack at defining Linux? Derp says it's a tough one. It would depend on the person I am explaining it to. Okay. All right. All right. I've done this before, but I will take a crack at it. I've been corrected before on this, by the way, and that's fine. So what is Linux? Linux technically is not an operating system in and of itself. So Linux is a kernel. All right. So nobody's going to go, a kernel? What's a kernel? All right. You have, on this hand, you have software, okay? On this hand, you have hardware. They want to get married. They want to be joined. We need something. We need someone to join them in the holy marriage of a computer. That thing that joins them is called father kernel, or the kernel. So if we're standing on a bridge, on this side of the bridge is software, on this side of the bridge is hardware. That's something, that bridge that connects the hardware and software is the Linux kernel. That's what gives you what you see on your screen in a very simplistic way. It is a kernel, code. Open source program, okay. It's the component of what a computer is, sure. I mean, I'll say Linux OS, Linux-based OS, but if you were to explain it to a newbie, KFC kernel, have a kernel. KFC, yeah. Finger licking good. So if you explain it to a newbie what Linux is, somewhat technical, non-technical, software, hardware, connect that with the Linux kernel. That's what Linux is in general. Now you can say, well, Linux is everywhere. It's in your refrigerator, in your car, on your phone, tablets, GPS, smart toilets. So that's Linux. How would you define a newbie versus a beginner? All right. Who wants to give that one a crack? A crack at it. How would you define a newbie? How would you define a beginner? Anybody want to try? Yes, Linux is finger licking good. Chicken sounds good right now. Jan says a free OS, and if you have learned how to adjust things, you can adjust anything you want. In addition, you can add all kinds of software for free. All right. Very good. Linux and Windows and Mac OS have some sort of kernel coding and have different ways to control hardware and display visuals on screen. So Derp says a beginner is someone who has zero experience. A newbie has little knowledge. Actually, I think it's the opposite. A newbie, just as it says, is completely new. So you have it. I think it's reversed. So if you ask a newbie, "What's Linux?" that person goes, blah, 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 blah. But if you ask a beginner, "Have you heard of Linux?" then he might say, she might say, he might say, "I tried something called Ubuntu, but I wasn't sure, man." That's a beginner. A newbie is completely immune to Linux. Derp says that's what you meant. Okay, you switched it. All right. Anyway, yeah, that is a newbie. A newbie is like what I was back in 06. I never tried Linux before. I kind of knew what it was, but never tried it. I was pretty much a newbie back then. Hello, Ben. Ben, check your email. I sent you the invitation. But yes, a newbie is... A beginner is, yes, I've heard of Linux, tinkered with this or that, but it wasn't for me or whatever. That's a beginner. Hence, Linux newbie. You know. I suspect that a high percentage of people who follow this channel from the beginning were probably newbies or beginners who may have heard of Linux but were kind of scared. They thought it was for geeks, didn't know where to start. They went to a forum. They asked a question, you know, the forum wasn't friendly, it was unfriendly, it was mean, blah, blah, blah. They came here. Speaking to them as a Windows user who uses Linux, understood their pain, understood at least some of their questions, been there, done that. You know, sometimes I will call this Total OS. This is the No BS channel. I call it as I see it, especially when it comes to technology. You know. If I think Linux sucks sometimes, well, it does. If I think it's great, it is sometimes, just like anything else in life. But yeah, I suspect a certain number of you, a lot of you, have come to this channel as a place of refuge, as sort of a gateway from Linux to Windows, to Windows, not Lindows. Just a place to hang out and learn something new. I mean, for me, it was pretty much all self-taught. I can't recommend that to a newbie to self-teach, that person to self-teach everything. And it's not necessary anymore. You know, back in 06, back in the early days, there wasn't too many good channels on Linux for newbies. They were horrible. But a lot has changed, you know. So Linux newbies today have a wealth of content consumption on YouTube pretty much for free when you think about it. Yeah, I mean, I know some of you can, contribute to the channel, donations and stuff, and that's what keeps this channel going. But you don't have to. You can take all of this for free and pay nothing, and maybe get something out of it that may be better than Windows. Maybe, I don't know. But back in 06, in the early days, it was horrible. That's how I started this channel back in 2010. I was tired of seeing stuff that wasn't really teaching me anything, or talking real. So I started the channel as a Windows user, playing around with different Linux distros, distro hopping as we call it. I lost track how many. And in 2016, I said enough of the hopping. It's pointless. Hopping from bug to bug to bug is just silly. So I stayed with Ubuntu, Linux Mint, some Zorn mixed in, and now I'm with Ubuntu Mate. Alright, so Frostbite says that's how you kind of landed on the channel. Wonderful. Derp says came to me through Spatchy. Very good. Hello, Ben. Yeah.
Having problems.
Aren't we all? Can you hear? Anyway. Yes, Linux can be unpredictable too. Are there any Linux newbies here watching who have a question? Test, Ben, can you hear? Okay, I guess he can't. Yeah, we still have all those Windows users who are reluctant to move over to Linux.
Oh,
and
still
then
nothing.
And
Oh.
test.
Mm.
They are afraid to move over to Linux because they still cannot walk into a store and buy a Linux machine, except the Chromebook. Chromebooks are fabulous from what I've heard and seen. But putting that aside, yeah, unless a consumer can buy it, try it, it's going to be tough.
Okay.
Unplug and plug it back in. But want to trying to watch Biddle, but the streaming quality is really bad. Really? He usually doesn't have a problem, isn't he? Isn't he using Zoom? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. So those are my thoughts on Linux newbies. They're out there, a whole bunch of them. And in 2019, we still don't have a Linux desktop for the masses. Yeah, Spin. Arch is a longer and longer learning curve. Yes. See, examples like this where Ben is having problems with the audio, somewhat rare, though not unusual. And why we have this, where he can't, we have no standard in Linux. We have no quality standard. It's all over the place. It's all fragmented. You know, it's gotten much better than when I first tried it back in '06. But without a national or international standard, there's no base. Anyway. So Derp, you found Arch of all, really? Okay. Well, Arch is definitely not for newbies. Kenny says Chromebook is the closest thing. Yeah. I found it interesting that Linus Torvalds, the father of Linux, modern Linux, he would be cool with the Chromebook or Chrome OS as a national standard to combat fragmentation. I'm cool with that. Yeah. I would prefer something like a Linux Mint or Ubuntu Mate or something like that personally. Yeah, that's the problem. No standard. And everyone thinks to know better and make something new. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Windows and Mac, whether you like it or not, they are standards. And they've sold a lot of machines. We just don't have that in Linux. So Linux newbies, Windows users, they will continue to be Linux newbies. You know, and what I'm seeing on the market, what's coming in Linux in general, it's not good. So, you know, keep in mind, as Linux users, as Linux geeks, we don't have to consider, or we don't have to convince other Linux users to switch, to try Linux, to switch to a Linux distro. We don't have to convince other geeks as geeks. We have to convince Windows users to put them in the market to try Linux. What's up, Switch? And I'm not seeing anything on the market except for the Chromebooks. So, can you hear now, Ben? Yeah, Big Daddy is from the Linux Fest event. Okay, cool. Skybear, yeah. I would have loved to go there. Loved to have been there. I think it would have been cool. I should have done like an Indiegogo campaign. Let's send Toss to Linux Fest, his first Linux Fest as a Windows user. It would have been nice to go there. I did see the ZBD boss there trying his first time trying biscuits and gravy or something at the Linux. I don't know. Hello, Dan. How are you? Dan, if you want to jump on, check your email. I actually did this one for our friend Timo, a longtime supporter of the channel. He wanted me to do a live show tonight, but maybe he got busy. So, well, Tim, if you watch this later, this one's for you. You are sponsoring this video, even though you couldn't make it. But thank you anyway, Tim. Just a heads up, next week I will do an unboxing of my very first Amazon Fire tablet. So be on the lookout for that. My very first. Yeah. Yeah, Dan, check the email. Peabody, what's up? I got the. I originally ordered the Fire 7. But it's not high. It's excuse me. It's not a high def screen, so I went with the Fire HD8. It wasn't that much more, so. And I think it has dual speakers. I want my speaker, so that's coming in next week. So that, thanks to your support, I was able to buy that. So that review unboxing is being sponsored by the community. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I'll hate it. I'll be a Linux newbie to that Fire HD tablet. Derp says, you wish creators of distros would come together and make a distro to rule them all. That's fine with me, Derp. Call it Community OS. Have a standard, you know. Peabody says, what am I putting on it on the Amazon tablet? In the beginning, nothing. I need to test it the way it was designed to be fair. Right? I'm not going to modify it. Now, I may eventually install the Google Play Store. But that Fire tablet, once I do the unboxing and testing, to be fair, I have to test it the way it was designed. And then later I can modify it or throw it in the trash or whatever. Hi, Dan.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I just literally flew in the door.
Okay. Yeah, this was late notice, as I usually do. I know it sucks. I actually started night. I went solo for like, well, I went solo to you. Well, Ben came on, but there was no sound, so I went solo for almost a half an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I tried to fly home as quickly as I could.
It's late notice. I know I suck at scheduling. Those of you know I can't do this full time. I wish I could. But not a problem. I've done many solo shows before. Not a big deal.
We don't want you to be all alone.
I know. No, just kidding. I'm wearing a piece of history, by the way. See this?
Oh yes, HTC. I think they went out of business. We were just talking about that tonight.
HTC Evo 3D. Now, HTC is still around making phones. I don't know for how long.
Well, I guess my second cousin got one, and then shortly after that, about a year after that, they dropped support for it and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. They were the darling of the Android world, but they like, honestly, I don't know. I still got the HTC One Max with the big fat speakers. I'm keeping that. But yeah, I don't know what happened to them. So I joke, HTC stands for Help This Company.
Yeah.
Switch to Linux. I want you to come on because I read something about you today that made me laugh, but I guess was appropriate. It's family friend, so Switch, come on the show.
Yeah, come on, Switch.
Yeah, and I'll come on. I'll stay off a little bit longer. See, I just did a quick Linux newbies. You know, what's Linux? Linux is basically a kernel. What's a kernel? The kernel is that bridge that connects the hardware and the software. So that marriage is made by the kernel. That's the kernel. What's a newbie? A newbie is if you ask someone, have you tried Linux? And that newbie goes, that's a newbie. A beginner is you ask, have you tried Linux? He or she might say, yeah, I tried something called Ubuntu or this and that. I didn't like it. That's a beginner. So you know what I was talking about. So, Derp says I'm building a bridge so toss doesn't flood us all. Oh. Yeah, Switch. I sent the email. You should be getting it. O'Shane Wint. Hello. O'Shane Wint. Welcome. O'Shane. Unchained, you gave your mom an Amazon Fire 7 tablet for Christmas. Did she like it? I had that on order, but I thought, you know what, for a few dollars more, I can go with the 8-inch, get a high-definition screen and 2 speakers versus 1. So on the 7-inch, the speaker is in the back. I hate that. All speakers should be in the front, not in the back.
Yeah.
Now on the Fire 8 tablet, speakers are on the side, which is better. And it wasn't that much more, so I went with that.
Any luck now?
We can hear you, man.
Alrighty.
You see, this is what happens when you try Arch.
I don't know. I don't think it collapsed on me, man.
Okay, all right, okay. We have the Executioner. Do you really don't like eggs that much? Hello, Egg. You see, I like that Executioner. I guess when you crack an egg and you cook it, you kind of kill it, you execute it. Okay, all right. Welcome, Are you new to the stream? Everybody, I love it. Say hello to the Executioner. That sounds like a movie. Give it up for Egg.
Give it up.
Execute clever. O'Shane likes peppermint. I know, where's Steve tonight? The peppermint master. He's not here.
They're probably all on Big Daddy.
I guess so.
Greetings.
Yeah.
Switch. What's up, man?
Yeah, Switch.
Hey, I'm on Arch too. So.
Oh, okay.
By the way,
Yeah.
They haven't broke it by now.
Gee, no wonder.
It's still running, and I'm gonna. Eventually, I do want to change it to something else, but I looked up the other day, and it's like I have so much production stuff crept over here. I just don't want to wipe it yet.
Switch, I got to tell you. And by the way, those of you joining in late, you can rewind this or wait till this stops processing when I'm done. You can go back on what is a Linux newbie, what's Linux, and what's a newbie. So, but Switch, I have to tell you, I just did a quick web search, top Linux YouTube channels, and yours came up, rightfully so. It listed the top pro and the top con. Here's the top pro. Addresses the views of those who are not power users. I know you mix it in, but I would have to agree. Here's the top con. Sometimes blows up.
Well, this is actually funny because I was experimenting for about a month or so, not doing fire screens and keeping it toned down and not getting all that much. And, I haven't noticed anything else. And of course, I usually, when I got the fire screens going, I usually get, a couple people like, oh, man, you can get this across without yelling and stuff. I'm just like, well, the thing is that people really like the yelling. I'm not like that in real life, usually. But it's funny because it's like I experimented without it, and then I put the fire screen back on last night on both my video clips, and it's just like, you know what? People like the fire screen.
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, but this blog or review, or I mean, it's actually a compliment.
Where was that at?
Go to Slant. Let me post it in the thing. It's slant.com. It was just a random thing that I was waiting for people to jump on, and here I'll put it in the chat.
So someone in the chat says
it's on slant.com. Yeah. There's a link in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, Derpington says, hold on now, it's not Arch that breaks, it's a user who breaks it. I have to agree with him. I was messing with the sound settings earlier.
Okay. So all right. It's still not for newbies. Sorry. Yeah.
User error. On that case, I have to say it was my fault.
Okay. Yeah, for all Linux newbies who watch this like later on who may want to consider trying Linux, we don't normally blow up. It's just for fun. We're not screaming at you why you're not using Linux. It's just for fun. Like when I do the news nonsense, just for a joke, for fun. We're all friendly here, so But no, I started the show talking about what's a Linux newbie, what's a Linux, how do you define Linux, and we've talked about it before. How do you define a newbie versus a beginner? And I'm doing this series of live shows because I'm still not seeing anything out there on the web or on the market that's tailored for that Windows audience to try to really switch over to Linux or consider it. I saw some news on the Purism phone. Very disappointing. Super disappointing. You know.
Did you see my second con on the list? Too paranoid. His paranoid opinions are presented without well enough support.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had to scroll down. Yep.
Isn't that what got?
No, I mean, I have a lot of support. I mean, if you watch my news channel, that's support enough. I mean, really.
Well, we all have
Awesome.
our opinions. In my opinion is that this team rocks. There you go.
I mean, if
you want us to talk paranoid, though, I'll go ahead and plug tomorrow about 9:30 Eastern. Me and Techlore are going to do a show together.
Cool.
So,
all right. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
two seriously paranoid Linux security privacy guys. That's going to be paranoid. Anyway.
What time?
Sorry. 9:30 Eastern is what we're shooting for. He has
Morning
to drive
or
back,
evening?
back to his office.
AM?
Evening, 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
9:30 p.m. That's what our target time is.
Awesome. I wish I
And check the channel in case we're late
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, as soon as my work schedule, which maybe I can, we can do another Life in Linux, but I have to get up super early Monday, so I usually go to bed earlier on Sunday evenings. But anyway, there we go, Switch. Their top con sometimes blows up, which he's not lying.
He was on
That's
fire
epic.
last
I like
night.
that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at, and I'll talk about this in a future topic, but I was looking at the Purism phone, the Librem 5. Some of us are waiting for the true, Linux phone, as it were. I was looking at the specs. The specs are and this is a pre-order. It's about $650. It's way overpriced in my opinion, but maybe the specs could justify it. I'm looking at the specs, and there were two or three says to be announced, memory to be announced, this and that, speaker at least one. Good.
It was actually so Techlore was talking about it the other night on his live stream, and he looked at he was looking at the Purism phone, is looking at this going, man, I kind of want to do this, but he was concerned, and he showed the blog posts and things like they just finally made a call. This is like last week. That's a problem.
Windows users, if you're laughing at the phone thing right now, I don't blame you. I'm like, at least the phone, even we laugh. I'm like, if I'm the president of a company, speaker, at least one. What is this, like 20 years ago? At least one? Now, if you would have said at least four, wow. I've never seen a phone for. Now, that's impressive. It's kind of like buying a car. It'll have at least one tire. Oh, good.
The engine will have at least one cylinder.
Oh, my Lord. This is like news and nonsense, but this is real. Now, I'm sure it's a fine company, and they want to do their best, but I'm like, you're on the wrong track. Anyway, I gave a plug to a great technology channel, Linux. They do Linux too. It's Category 5 Technology TV. They bought and they took a look at the $100 Pinebook Linux laptop. So check that out. So I'm going to give them a plug because they do a great live show once a week on a low budget. They do a true professional show. Check out Category 5 Technology TV and their look at the Pinebook. I'm not going to recommend that for Windows users, but it's something to look at. Yeah, Derp, he says I'm going to spend $700 on something that is not confirmed. I'm not, especially with one speaker, at least one speaker. God, oh my God. Okay.
and they're trying to sell this thing, and they don't have any hard specs for it.
Well, it's going to have either a 5.5 or 5.7-inch screen, 32 gigabytes of memory. The RAM, I don't think it's listed yet, but the speaker didn't blow. I thought it was a joke, but at least one. Oh my Lord!
And it's a stereo, so you only get like half the sound, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that phone may go the way of the Windows Phone. I hope I'm wrong. I really am, but you remember back in 2012 when Ubuntu tried to sell the Ubuntu phone, the Ubuntu Edge, and I believe they raised over $10 million. That's pretty good for a no-name phone. When you think about it.
Yeah,
It wasn't enough. $10 million, and it wasn't enough. Oh well, I think they raised 1.5 million for this project or something, which is, I think, is great. If 10 million wasn't enough, how is a 1.5 million going to be enough?
here's the problem. I wanted to see an Ubuntu phone. I could not find one anywhere.
Yeah, that was sold only in Europe.
They did make them, but yeah, it was yeah. I think the first prototypes, yeah.
The people
It looks slick, yeah, but
the people who wanted to show interest in maybe purchasing one didn't have access to actually make a decision.
I don't know. I thought for sure if you do a Kickstarter and collect 10 mil, you would think that'd be enough to get it started.
Well, I tell you this, I would rather run Ubuntu on my phone than Android or iOS.
Me too.
And to be clear, that OS was an Android base. It was the old Ubuntu phone. It was a custom ROM based on Android.
Yeah.
But you can get in there and you can pull a lot of that stuff out. That's what Lineage has done. It's pulled a lot of that stuff out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm getting I was telling the folks, which I don't know if you have, but I ordered my first Fire tablet from Amazon. I traded in my Samsung. I had a credit. I mean, it was really, really low price. I figured, what the heck, I'll do an unboxing review of it and I'll check it out. But I think for the price, and if you're into Amazon, I think a Fire tablet's fine. The one I'm getting is the 8-inch with the 2 speakers versus the 1. So.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'll probably install the Google Play Store on it. As a hack, as it were, but that's as far as I go, I think.
Because I remember the advertising for the Ubuntu phone. They said like a lot of these phones had, at least back then, like dual cores. They had like a lot of RAM. It was a full-fledged computer, and the operating systems weren't taking full advantage of that hardware.
Yeah. So
the idea was, let's put a full desktop operating system, so you can take. It's like a full computer, and it looks like that's what Librem is trying to do with their phones too.
I don't know. It's like I said, I was looking at this before I started, but
apparently as I was talking to some people, yes, it is a full Linux operating system, but it is based on an ARM, and so you can't just grab any old piece of software. It has to be compiled for an ARM processor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of what it is. I have a friend that does a little bit of work with them. I'll have to see if there's any updates on that.
Is it worth $700? I don't think they're even close. But
for me, I don't get any phone that's over like $200. I'll spend up to $200 per phone. That's it.
Well, I mean, we talked about. I think the sweet spot for a Linux-based technology hardware, I think, is $400. Whether it's the desktop, laptop, this. Once you go over there, it's a tough sell of $400, but it's doable. It's $700, man, with maybe only one speaker. Maybe not. Hey, it's.
I mean, how do they expect it to compete with a flagship phone? Many of those are in the $700 and $800 range.
When you go $650 high, now you're into your iPhone.
Yeah,
iPhone.
And the specs are actually going to be decent enough, to my understanding. I'd be concerned that you're taking a flagship mature phone based on Android or a Samsung or an Apple and comparing it to a first-gen Linux phone that's going to have almost nothing. Yeah. Now, granted, most of us don't really care about having a lot of stuff, whatever. But
it says this is going to run Pure OS. Has anybody tested Pure OS? A version of Pure OS?
But speaking of Apple, they lost their lawsuit with that Norwegian company.
Did they? Cool. I didn't see the update on that.
Louis Rossman uploaded his he was testifying. He uploaded the video to his channel.
I liked watching that. Right? Do you see that? Yeah. The lawyer for the one side comes in. He's asking real technical questions, and then Apple's lawyer just tries to discredit Louis. So these are videos. It's clear you don't like Apple. Like, yeah. Duh.
But that one lawyer, it was like trying to explain tech to your grandparents. Like, here, speak slower. And he tries to speak slower. Like, the first 2 sentences, he'll speak slower, then all of a sudden he just starts talking fast again.
Yeah.
It's like, oops.
That happens to all of us, doesn't it?
Anyway, any Linux newbies here in the chat? That's what this show's all about. Linux newbies. Don't be shy. Ask a question. No question is too stupid for a newbie, right? Let's see here. Ubuntu phones. The Ubuntu phones look nice. Yes, Frostbite, they did. From what I saw, I think someone reviewed them on. I think it was Jordan Keys. He was the original Twill This Week in Linux years ago. I think he was able to get his hands on one of those phones. But yeah, it went nowhere. So sadly. Chris Titus, first sponsor is Purism. Okay, Gnostic. Good for him. Let me turn on the ticker feed, see what we have here.
I'll still be in the chat, but I'm
okay.
Cut out here. All right.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Okay.
See ya.
Did you guys see a commercial for a zombie movie? It's a comedy called The Dead Don't Die. It stars the guy who plays in the Star Wars movies, the evil guy. What's his name?
Emperor Palpatine.
Well, the actor is
Star Wars movie.
The actor is Adam Driver. You know, like in the reboots, in the continuing. What's his name? I can't think of his name now.
The crappy Star Wars.
The crappy Star Wars. Well, his real name is Adam Driver. That's the actor. I can't think of his name. In fact, let me do a search. Now it's gonna irk me. Adam Driver. What's his name? And
yeah, is it Ben Solo? Is that who he is?
No, it's hang on.
I have so stopped.
I've seen the movies and they're okay.
Yeah,
the first three are the best. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Solo is the latest quote Darth Vader type guy. I forget what they're calling him, but he's I think it's Rilo Ken. Evil. Yeah, Kylo Ren.
All right, okay. Anyway, he's in this zombie. It looked pretty funny. It's called The Dead. It's a zombie spoof.
Does he use the Force?
I don't know. That would be funny. If he just stops him like this, yeah.
It's kind of like if you ever seen the movie Exodus, right? It's so crappy. That's such a garbage movie. And Christian Bale, of course. I mean, it was so bad. I was expecting Batman to show up and lay waste to Memphis. It would have been more biblically accurate.
I did see the latest Godzilla.
Okay, how's that?
I know it bombed at the box office. You know what? I liked it. However, that being said, the CGI effects way outpaced the silly story. And that's why it bombed. It's proof that, once again, you can spend $100 million on a film or more, but if you don't have the story that sucks you in, as in the first Godzilla, the remake from 2014, which I thought was a good story, this one didn't suck me in as much. It was fun to watch. It was thoroughly enjoyable. But
is that kind of like Matrix came out, and Matrix was a really good film, but then they're like, hey, let's grab some more cash out of this, and then they made the other two ones, which were all special effects and no story. They were so bad.
They were
Matrix fans.
They were fun to watch, but I wasn't sucked in as in the first one. That is correct. I think the Alien movies. They did the first one, the second one, which is a rare, wonderful sequel. You may have seen Aliens. Then from there, it's been it's hard.
I think actually the only one I've seen is Alien 3. I think.
Okay.
I'm not a huge Ridley Scott fan, believe it or not. I find that half of the movies he's done, I find, are a perversion of their real sources.
You have to see the first Alien, Tom. Then you really.
I probably should.
You should.
Now, did he do? Did he also do Abyss?
No, that was the Terminator producer,
Okay.
James Cameron.
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay.
But Blade Runners, and as I was watching Blade Runner, I'm like, this is nothing like the book. It turns out that they bought the script for Blade Runner just because they liked the title. The book is actually, the storyline is actually based on another book, but they pulled some elements in, and it's just like, that's why I'm not a huge fan of Ridley Scott. It's like
his movies are hit and miss.
I like the idea, and I'm going to take somebody else's idea and do something else with it. It feels like all these reboots to me. You know?
He won the Academy Award for Gladiator, I think, which I thought was well done. He's a hit and miss. He's done so many movies; not all are going to be good, obviously.
Speaking of zombie movies, there's a new one coming out with Bill Murray in it. It's called The Dead.
That's the one we're talking about. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, because I just found the trailer for it because I watched it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
He's not in Zombieland 2?
The trailer looks hilarious. Bill Murray looks kind of really old. You know?
Yeah. Well, he is now. Yeah. I might go see that just for fun.
Well, Bill Murray, of course, had a cameo in Zombieland, and they killed him. He was one of the few non-zombies, and he tried to play a joke on Jesse Eisenberg's character, and he shot him.
Peabody says Terminator Revelation. Was that a movie? Terminator Revelation?
Yeah, I think they're coming up with another Terminator now.
No, it's called Terminator Dark Fate. That's what it's called, I think. Terminator Revelation.
No, I thought there was a run called Terminator Revelation. That's pretty sure.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh, Salvation?
Terminator Salvation. That's what you mean, Peabody. Yes, it's called Salvation. You know, I
have the first two.
First two are good.
First two, no.
Yeah. I did enjoy 3. After that, no.
Yeah, I had 3 at one point in time.
Yeah.
I did find a copy of Goonies the other day, and I watched them, and I realized why it wasn't in my collection. Man, it's vulgar.
You know, they had Tom Skerritt, the guy in the first Alien. He played the Captain Dallas of the ship. And he said, of course, back then he wasn't that well known, but he says during the breaks and shooting, they had the young teenager actor who was a 7-foot guy as the alien in the suit. And he says, now back then we didn't have iPhones or quick cameras to take a shooting, but it was quite a sight. The actor walks out of the stage during a lunch break, whatever, and this hairdresser guy, I guess, is holding the actor's tail. And the hairdresser has long flowing hair, and I'm watching the scene, and he's like, I wish I would have had like iPhone or something to take video of this. It was so surreal, you know. But of course the movie Alien became a standard for other horror movies, you know. And it made Sigourney Weaver a star, you know. But you definitely in fact I got the first Alien on DVD with director commentary. There's a few little things I know about it. Of course, the soundtrack, if you listen, is magnificent, perfect for the movie. You know, but check out the first Alien. It might change your mind about Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, I know at some cognitive level it's good. It's just a movie I've just never gotten around to watching.
Yeah. So. Anyway. All right, so we got it. It's 10:25, but no, I'll stay on a little bit longer. Again, this is Linux Newbies, even though we're talking about other stuff now. If you're coming on late, you can rewind this or replay this, rather, when we're done talking. If we have any Linux Newbies questions, as we usually do, of course, ask me or ask Switch, or, you know, you can ask Dan, but he's not really as experienced as we are,
a little more than you think I am.
Okay, well, you can ask Dan too. Yes. I did see Big Daddy Linux was at the Southeast Linux Fest. Cool. Yeah. And ZBD Boss is there too from Peppermint. Peppermint Master. Yeah, very, very nice. Cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Peppermint rocks. That's just such a good distro.
It is.
I'm using that. Of course, I switched my banking software over to Peppermint instead of I used to be using Ubuntu. And that distro is getting old, so I was like, well, let's buy a new drive and reboot the thing. And tell you what, that Peppermint is just rocks.
Did you try Zorin 15?
Yeah, I did a video on it. There's, they've done a lot of good improvements to it over previous versions. I'm not a huge fan of their checking home feature and a few other things that I found in the privacy policy. But other than that, it seems like it's probably getting
I
better.
liked it. I did a full install test of the Ultimate. I really liked the modified version of GNOME. I think they nailed it. For newbies especially, I think it's solid. It's still heavy on resources as GNOME is, but it was completely stable. Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed pretty snappy for me too. Like I really think that the theming features inside of that are really what makes it really stand out well. It does a simple system very well. And so
click and go. That's all.
Definitely. It's one that might show up in my recommended lists.
It's in my top 10. If we're talking about Linux newbies, check out Zorn. You don't have to buy the Ultimate, by the way. This is the core and the light one's fine. So check out. They've been around 10 years. Good for them. For a lot of distributions, that kind of projects fade away. They're still around. I guess they got enough sponsors, enough people who like donations. They deserve it. Yeah.
The greatest thing about the new version I saw is they have removed Wine from being installed by default, at least on the Lite. I think it's still there on the Ultimate, but I think that's a mistake.
I never use Wine anyway, personally.
Well, that's the thing is that if you don't use it, it shouldn't be on your system because it opens a can of worms of security potential security.
Right.
How's it going, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
Good. How are you?
Long time no see.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that, but you kind of had some clue. And then tonight, of course, I felt compelled to try to make sure I made Bill because of the momentous self thing,
Yeah, we just thought, this show was actually by request by one of my supporters. He's not on the stream, evidently. But our friend Tim O, if you watch this later, this one's for you, man. Sorry, but maybe I'll catch you next time.
I'm very sorry to have been missing you lately, Carm.
No problem.
I've been watching your after shows and stuff, but it's just the way things have worked out.
No, I know. Yeah. No, I know. When's the last time we talked? Jeez, I don't know. It's been a while.
It seems like it's been a while. Yeah.
It has. Yeah, my dad flew in last month from Rome, catching up on his film project and stuff, and I've been doing the Sunday news nonsense with our friend Stephanie. She's back in the States here in about a week or so.
Well, I do want to thank you for the continuous invites, though. That's always very kind of you.
Oh, always. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How's your dad doing, by the way? Is he well?
Yeah, he came in. He was health-wise. He was in good spirits. My cousin Lisa made a comment about it, which made sense. She says, he's always so jolly.
Yeah.
He needs to be after 8 years of this project trying to get it sold, but always keeping our fingers crossed, as it were. And the movie's called, of course, The Cross and the Star. Anyway. But he's doing well. In fact, he called twice today, catching up on things. And, he was here. He was here in Ohio for 5 days. He was in New York for almost 10 days, catching up on things. But, no, he was here 5 days. I'm glad he came. We caught up. It was the first time, oddly enough, that we were able to see his movie project together as father and son.
Nice.
And talk about corrections. Nice. I was on my computer. Yeah, it was nice, And it was funny because there were scenes where, hey, Dad, I think you should cut that. No, do this, do that. We were arguing. And finally I went to my shorts and and he's like, what are you doing? Don't do that. I made him laugh, but he says, don't do that. Anyway, but we agreed on most things. Anyway, I gave him the list of what I think should be minor corrections. I gave him the notepad. He called today. He says, the director in Rome finally finished all the corrections. I said, good. All right. So anyway, but it was good. It was cool because that one day we went out to have coffee outside one of the coffee shops, the Brooklyn Bagel here. And I invited my friend over from high school and her husband to meet my dad. So we're outside having coffee. It was a beautiful sunny day. My dad, wrote a few songs for my dad used to, plays the keyboards and the accordion, and we're talking about the wonderful music in the movie. And I said, man, I would love, one of these days I'm going to thank the guy who wrote the music. I'll just call him. What? Hey, he picks up the phone. Hey, Sandro, come stai? My son, in Italian, mio figlio. My son wants to talk to you. I'm like, really? Sandro, come stai, my own? He says, come on. How are you? Come on. You speak English. Oh, thank God. You know.
Yeah.
So I said, Sandra, I think you nailed the soundtrack. I think it's Oscar worthy. Mao, you're too kind. You're too kind. Then he says, you know why the music's good? No, why? Because Italians know how to make a music. Oh, okay, all right, okay, all right.
Well, I knew that, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
I thought you were going to say when you did the Schwarzenegger, he was going to say, "What's wrong? We'll go hospital."
No, I wasn't going to. No, I didn't pull that on him, no, but he sounds like he's a cool dude. He has a Facebook page. He posted his two, without Oscars. They have like a foreign version of the Oscar, they call it. But he posted his 2 awards, Facebook. I'm like, well, I would too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but he's a super talented, gifted guy. And I said, if we sell the movie, I want to see these as a soundtrack. He says, okay, I'll send you one. Oh, all right. So anyway, and that's what I've been up to. You know, just doing these, Joe. And this week was a busy week. My son had surgery, wisdom teeth out. My mom had carpal tunnel surgery. Anyway, but I'm here relaxing. So
yeah,
anyway.
This past couple of weeks between some doctor's appointments, of course, and then everything seemed to be breaking around here. Our very expensive washing machine that's only 6 years old died.
Wow.
Got a roof leak on one of my rental properties. My other glasses broke, and the key fob on my truck went to heck. So, it's like,
well, last week I bought a new toaster. I bought a new microwave. My son's mother's car finally crapped. That was a crappy Chrysler Prodigy, broke after 10 years. It ain't that old. She bought a Buick. Good for her. That's what I drive.
Yeah.
So I know the feeling, you know. But at least my Linux is not broken.
Yeah. And I've been following you in the car a couple of times too. So I did a couple quick little jaunts there.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done the vlog. Yeah, I did what was the last vlog? I can't remember. About cars or something? It was about parking. That's right. I did a thing on parking. That's the number one problem with self-driving cars is parking. Did you guys know that in chat? What do you mean parking? Well, say you want to go to a concert. You can't find a parking space. You tell the car, keep driving till you find the space. Doesn't that waste gas and contribute to congestion?
Yeah. I have to tell Tom something. You know, it's funny you're talking about this stuff. And like, Tom ironically just did his stream on cashless society, and guess what happened tonight? We're out at Target. I went earlier tonight to buy new laundry machines at Home Depot, and they said, "Oh, our systems are really acting laggy. We have to keep kind of trying to push them through or retrying or whatever." And then they'll come up, and boom, we get to Target tonight, and I go to pick up some prescriptions or whatever. My wife's going to do some shopping and they said, "We can sell you a gift card, but we can't even open the cash drawers." They said nationwide.
They had a glitch, yeah.
Coming up and down and lagging and whatever. But what is the chances that 2 major retailers have the same exact problems going on across the country? It seems a little bit concerning, don't you think? So I said, well, then we're not buying anything tonight.
Maybe their machines were Windows updating at the time. I don't know.
I don't know. I was hoping it wasn't a cyber attack of some sort.
Yeah, really. Wow.
Well, over the past week, I've been really struggling with my internet too. It goes out, then it comes back on, then I lose a phone line, then it goes out, then it went out for a whole day. Then I guess some DNS servers had a DOS attack.
Wow.
And it shut down the whole system for a whole day, and the next morning got up and all the problems are gone.
But aren't these companies using Linux anyway? And I guess they're not.
Well, DDoS can shut down anything, though.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So you know, it's not a hack. It's just overloading the server with bogus requests.
Well, the worry is though, but Target, not all that long ago, probably in the last year or two, had a major hack of credit cards and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So did Home Depot.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
You know what? This was funny. We might see one with Lowe's sometime soon. They were running a system that was so old, hackers didn't even know how to get it. Literally until last year, Lowe's entire infrastructure was still running on DOS.
Wow.
Completely unhackable. They just upgraded it to a more up-to-date Windows system.
Well, a lot of our government agencies are still running XP from what I understand, so I don't know if that's still true or not.
Yeah. Well, all government websites have to run on Drupal, which is very exciting when there's major Drupal hacks. Fortunately, Drupal's pretty much on their security pretty well, but
okay.
Still, I mean, there's been some Drupal-geddons in the last few months. There's been 2 major ones.
Tom, what do you know about is it called Cloudberry? Have you heard of it?
Cloudberry. I think I've heard of Cloudberry.
Yeah, I had a possible sponsorship. I meant to ask you.
Oh yeah, I know who Cloudberry is. Yeah.
Are they okay?
I rejected working with them.
Okay.
Just because
That's
it's
fine.
just not something that I generally use.
Oh.
If it's like a service I wouldn't use, then it's not something that I would do.
Honestly, I mean, I know what they do, but I know nothing about them. That's why I was, I didn't reply.
Yeah, they're.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't know you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, they're a system that is. It's kind of like having a Dropbox or a Google Drive that's specifically for backups. So you install a client on your system. They have Linux, Mac, Windows clients. It will encrypt all your data and then send it to their cloud backup. So in theory, it's a good system. It's just not one I would personally use.
Fair enough. Okay.
But I might check them out if I were you.
Okay.
See if it's something that you like. I think they'll give you a free account to play with.
Well, see, I'm not getting sponsorship off from companies that I use, like Black & Decker, Coca-Cola, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, companies that I know because I feel comfortable. Even if you guys don't like it, that's okay because I use them, so I'm not being deceitful or anything. It's always from companies I don't know. Like there's one called Call App. I don't know, something like that. I'm like, where are you from? I thank them for the offer, but I'm like, I don't know you guys. I'm sorry, So.
Yeah, really, I use Ubuntu because you use Ubuntu.
Well,
I got tired of getting distros that I get them installed. They look great and everything, but there's something always broken. And then you try another one and something else is broken. And I just got tired of hopping from broken to broken to broken to works a month, then breaks.
I got one from Callmart app. Are they related with Walmart? I don't know, Callmart app. Someone from Cosplay Guru. Sorry, I don't know you.
Yeah, I get a lot of types of things. I just delete most of them.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart would be affiliated with Rakuten.
Wait a minute, Switch. Have you heard of upcloud.com?
Yeah, Rocco just announced tonight he's getting sponsored by them.
Upcloud, okay.
Because he does use them, and he said that, they're doing pretty. He said he's so far everything's thrown at us done well.
Okay, I may have to check with that then, because I think Rocco's is probably as picky as I am. So
yeah,
this is from last month. All right, I might check into UpCloud. In fact, I'll send a reply. Yes, I would be interested. All right, UpCloud, Mr. I can't pronounce your last name. Sorry. Let me know. Don't leave me in the clouds if I accept. All right. Yeah. Anyway, PC Colin, PCTLC, what's up? But those of you joining late, for all the Windows users who watch this later, welcome to Linux Newbies. We were talking about Linux Newbies and what is Linux, what is a newbie, and one of these days I may just buy a Chromebook, just to do some of the live streams on a Chromebook, but not that I have to prove anything, but. For now, I'm going to wait till I get the Fire Tab 8 and do an unboxing with that. So that's probably strong enough to do a live stream, I would imagine. Quad core? Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. They have the 7, the 8, and I believe the 10-inch. Yeah, they got the 10-inch one. I believe the 8 is 720p, not full HD. I believe the 8-inch is full 1080p. So, and that was only $20 more, I think, than the 8. But I didn't want anything that big, In fact, I got a case already for the 8-inch. So, anyway, Jonathan says, "Can't imagine yourself using DOS." Okay, I have no reason for it. STS says, "I wish I was more laid back like me, being high strung when you see you have rootkits in Linux." Okay, I'm not high strung. No.
Yeah, but the funny thing is when DOS was kind of the only thing to use, or even when Windows first evolved, DOS was still available. There were a lot of programs that were DOS based, And as crude as it looks, and ironically, when I go to, like, I don't know if you have Menards where you're at, but they have Menards here. It's like a home improvement center. They have, when you look, they're looking up the computer, they have still what looks to be a DOS-based system. And yeah, it's ugly as sin. It's just, green boxes on a black screen or whatever, but it was as rock solid as you can get,
Nice.
So,
we have somebody from Turkey. Green, Green, Green. Hello, Green. Everybody say hello to Green from Turkey. Wow.
Hello.
Hi, Green.
Are you a Linux newbie? If you are, you've come to the right place because we don't have a clue either. No, I'm just kidding.
We haven't mentioned much about Linux all day,
Yeah.
Well, I did the first half. I did a solo for the first half hour or so, but that's okay. This was late notice. My schedule for this channel sucks. I know. I'm sorry. I can't do it full time, but no, it's cool. Those of you watching this now can replay this once it's done processing. And anyway, welcome, Greens. Everybody, say hello to Green from Turkey. Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Tell us what you use.
I'm still on Mint, and there's a lot of things I like about it, but the one thing that's still haunting me, and it hadn't happened for a while, and it froze right in the middle of something today. I really wish I could figure out what's triggering it. So, and I never thought I would leave Mate for the longest. I still say if they could skin Mate to look like this, it'd be an absolute perfect distro.
After all those years of distro hopping and lost track to how many and all the headaches from bugs to bugs to bugs, the looks that's not my priority. I go with stability first. And Mint is stable. Mate is stable. Ubuntu Mate. I can customize, you can just about skin anything,
Sure.
That's why I'm not that. First thing has to be stability. You're welcome, Green. You're welcome. This one's for you too. Now, number one has to be, because if it ain't stable, do you care about the looks?
Yeah. Well, for me, and part of it is, and there was a lot of discussion fairly recently too about, dark themes over light themes and how they affect your eyes and most people agree that the darker themes are easier on the eyes. So Mate has one, but it's still for me, and I probably could work on getting it darker. It's not quite dark enough. I do like the way the compositor works on Mint even a little bit better, I think, than maybe Mate, because I had glitches there. But I've said this before. It seems like even as stable as they are, seems like there's one.
I know.
Or two little quirks. And that's
just a little thing to make it perfect, just like being picky, like a girl buying shoes or something. No, I know.
My quirks are with Pulse Audio strictly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's usually not something that's horrible, but it's annoying.
I was testing the latest. I did a full install of Zorin. I had it running on my 50-inch TV here. It looks beautiful. That's a beautiful, customized GNOME desktop with user-friendly extensions. That would be perfect, except it's still a resource hog. Yeah. So I can't use it I'll use it for tap. But you're right. That would be a perfect, but it's heavy. Yeah. But it looks great. It has the automatic light to dark theming day and night, which is a nice touch. Click and go, easy for Windows users and advanced users. But it's a resource hog. Not Zorin's fault. That's just GNOME desktop. But you're right. If it wasn't for that, that would be perfect. So you're right. Each one has its little... a little bit of this and that, but you know what? I'm an Ubuntu Mate. I'm good enough. So
I will tell you, I tried. As a matter of fact, I still have it loaded up in there. I tried Zorin in the VM, and it doesn't seem to really like the VM that great. It works, but it was so it wouldn't be a fair try of it. And I still have Pop OS on my second drive in this machine.
Okay.
I'm running Peppermint on my workstation still.
Which version of VirtualBox are you using?
I don't remember if it's 6 or not, or 5.2. I can't remember. I think it might be
5.2, 30 is probably the best you're going to get.
That's what I'm on. Yeah.
When you go to 6, even Windows 10 runs so slow. You can't stand it. I had this discussion with the guys over on Discord, about different VirtualBox versions, and Ubuntu has yet to actually recommend a VirtualBox 6 version for an update. They stay to the 5.
Right, and you have to fix the fonts in there. The fonts are light on the white background, where 5.230 is still a dark one. Hi, Tim.
Yeah.
Timo, welcome.
Well, I finally was able to get on.
With 6 speed is the issue.
This is for you, Tim. You, I did the show. You're the sponsor of this video of this stream. Thank you.
I was having problems with the with everything coming on. So
okay, not a problem. I'm glad you're better late than never. I was feeling bad because I started. I sent you the email earlier today. I'm like, man, I wish he was here. He's the one. Why we're here, you know. But welcome, Tim. Do you have any questions? This is a Linux Newbies show.
Yes, I'm still having a problem with this machine. So
what? Tell us, what are you running?
Hold on a minute, guys.
Okay, all righty, no problem. Yeah, Tim wasn't been able to join us for a lot of the lately on the streams. I felt because of the schedule. Anyway, he told me last week about Saturday night. We can see you, Tim, but okay.
Okay, yeah, just everything kind of got messed up here. My big one here, and just
okay. How you been?
Just want to say hey to you guys. Well, I'm doing. The lighting here is pretty bad, so excuse me for that.
No problem. No problem. But, do you have any questions for us while you're here?
No. Just I stay in tune with you guys. You know,
good. Okay.
Even though I'm not on all the time, but
right. Yeah. I started the show. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm an MX Antics guy, so.
Okay.
And when you were talking about before about that desktop for the consumer, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I think my thing was just, you know what? Let's not be a conglomerate monopoly like Windows and Apple. Yep. Leave Linux the way it is. I think it's awesome just the way it is. You know? I
think for the choices you have, and for those of us who are somewhat geeky, it's great. But for a newbie who doesn't have the time, like you're always on the road. I think you don't have the time to fix puzzles. That's why we need a standard Linux, and it doesn't take away from the Linux philosophy. It adds, because it adds another choice. And if Linux truly is about choice, we should have a standard desktop as a choice. Doesn't mean you got to buy it or got to like it,
right?
But it's a choice, and we don't have it.
Well, I was just saying, just look at what we use, like even our old machines.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, it's not necessarily that you got to go out there and buy something that's work on the stuff that. I mean, Linux keeps your old equipment alive. I think, and that's I mean that's what turned me on to it back in 2014.
Okay.
And when I started was with Mint, and what was the other one? Ubuntu 14.04. That's when I started. MX before hit the top of the list. You know, I started with them when what was that? MX 16.
Okay.
And it was at the bottom.
Okay.
But it just became my favorite. And with Antics and MX, I mean they're related together. But
well, Antics is fast. Antics is it's not for newbies in my opinion. Antics, no, but it flies. Absolutely.
I'm using it now. That's what I'm on with you right now with the old old Latitude D. What is this?
Okay.
Thing? D630 Dell. This thing's ancient.
Low RAM usage. It's awesome. Yeah, nice.
So, but I wanted to get out with you earlier. I was just having some problems with my big one, and
not a problem. Glad you're here. Like I said, I know you wanted me to come on tonight. I had times, and this one's for you and for everybody else, of course.
For everybody. You guys are the best. All you guys from Linux are just absolutely incredible. I mean,
Tim, you missed the little joke. Well, it wasn't a joke, but I was as I was getting ready, I just did a search top Linux YouTube channels. Of course, the list is with a lot of names with Linux in it. Tom's came up, switched to Linux, and it was pros and cons.
Okay.
So what was the pro? It's not just for power users. The con was, here we go, ready? Con was blows up a lot.
And the other con is I'm definitely too paranoid. I'm guilty as charged. Dude, I have a tinfoil hat time.
Yeah, true, yeah. Anyway.
But 1903, now Windows 1903, they said, has got some major bug they're working on.
The updates, God. They really want us to go to Linux, but they have no competition yet, except for Chromebooks.
That's why I say keep going, keep what they're doing.
Well, since you brought the Chromebooks, I memean, I've got an old computer that I use. My daughter actually uses it, and I put that Neverware on it with the Chromium OS.
And
as the secondary to Chromebooks, and that baby just rocks. I mean, it's got 6 gigs of RAM. It's got a 750 gigabyte hard drive on it. It's got that it's an AMD quad. I can't remember the exact name model for the processor, but it's AMD. And what's funny is that when you buy a Chromebook, a lot of the specs are low, you know, and when you put even the Neverware on there, it just makes, I mean, your specs from your older computer actually work better than a brand new Chromebook, if you think about it.
Well, it was funny because somebody sent me an email link to check out Linus Torvald's interview from last year, and he talked about the problem of fragmentation. That's why he's kind of, you know, Linus Torvalds, the father of Linux.
Right.
Okay. So he was saying even after 25 years, we still have fragmented, no standard Linux desktop. But he would have been cool. He hinted, Linus, the father of Linux, modern Linux, he would be fine with Chrome OS as a national standard. Imagine that. Because it works.
That does use that way. That definitely uses the Linux kernel.
Yeah.
Isn't it supposed to be run off of Gentoo or something like that?
Yeah, it's built off of Gentoo because you can. It's the easiest distro to configure for hardware.
And Chromebooks continue to sell. Yeah.
When you're talking about a Chromebook, like you just said, Tim, the hardware though is not really necessarily heavy either. It's a very light duty, you know, almost underpowered in some ways. So that might be part of its secret. So if you're looking at would it really handle something that was, you know, of some, you know, substance as far as a hardware standpoint, that would be interesting to see.
Right. They continue to sell. They rock. And you're going to get a minimum 5 years guaranteed support. Ain't bad, you know.
Yeah.
I think we might see more powerful Chromebooks come up down the road that can handle actually Linux apps and other things as well. As Google really wants to sink their feet in the internet as deep as they can get it.
Well, they promised this year any Chromebook, any 2019 Chromebook you buy will run Linux apps. Debian apps, evidently. I don't know how well because it's still beta. That's pretty good, you know. So there you go.
Based on Gentoo, so I don't see there's a problem with running Linux apps.
Right.
But I'm still nervous about Google taking that high position in yet another field of technology.
True.
Because they already stole the search engine market. You know, they got the video market. They got the advertising market.
They do a good job of it. They do a good job of it. So
and they're trying to take the gaming market.
Yeah,
they're coming out that new Stadia console.
That I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but I guess they want to give it a try. Why not? You know.
They just might be a little too late on that one.
Did I just come in fire up?
And then they're finding out
something. Yeah.
They're finding out with the Stadia stuff through testing that if you're going to do a game in 4K, you're going to eat up over 1 terabyte of data in a little over 2 hours.
Yep. I don't think
and most people have a data cap that's not that high.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Yeah.
There was it was a guy from, I forget, it was some news article or something, and he was like, awesome, we're doing the first ever 5G stream. He hit his data cap in 15 minutes. This tells you the problem.
But that's good. That proves he was actually 5G. But he proved this, so then the way it's good, yeah.
But did you also hear too now with the 5G? They're talking about holding back that being released because the weathermen are actually complaining that they claim it'll interfere with the satellites and they won't be able to do it.
But Asia Pi says that's not true because Asia Pi knows more than the government.
You never do accurate forecasts anyway, so what's the difference?
It rains here all the time.
The difference is that the right now the weather is better at prediction than it was in the 1980s.
Oh, sure it is. Yeah.
What they're saying is if 5G is deployed the way they want it deployed, our weather prediction is going to go back to the 1980s level of weather prediction, which is a big deal. And it has to do with the emission spectrum of 5G is in the same exact frequency that water molecules emit. And they use the water molecule frequency and density as a predictor of weather. And so if basically it's going to be like a whole bunch of cloud showing up in the system. We won't be able to predict the weather as well because we can't see what's going on in the weather. That's what the problem. And it's absolutely legitimate.
What you're trying to say in a roundabout way is it interferes with the Doppler radar system?
Yes.
There we have it.
So the best way to predict, hey, is it going to rain? Yes. I feel the wind coming this way, yeah.
But that's going to be more reliable than the weather stations with as much 5G deployment as we want to push out.
But, you know, the other thing, too, you have to wonder about is with all these radio waves and frequencies and everything else, what is that still, you know, they say there's always this toss-up whether it really affects the human body or not. But, I mean, you would think it would have to be at some level, because if it could go through walls and everything else, we're just flushing how much water and, you know.
Well, try this little trick. Speaking of the human body, next time you go to your car, say you go to Walmart or whatever, and you come out and you park far away, grab your key remote, put it underneath your chin, and you'll see how much more range that you get. Try it. Take the remote. No, seriously, try to put it here, and don't be surprised if you get double the range, because you're actually using your head as an antenna.
Yeah.
Try it. It does work.
Maybe I should try it because they just ordered the key fob for me this week. Maybe I should try that again.
Yeah. All right. So instead of like, what's the maximum range? 25 feet, 30 feet for the key. Try 60 feet. See what happens. It does work. I showed it to my friend. He's like, get at it. I said, holy cow, your car's over there. Yeah. See, look, I'm using my head. You know. So yeah. That's a trick I picked up years ago. But hello, White Chocolate. How are you? Any other newbies in the stream? We had someone from Turkey. Are you still with us, Green? You didn't tell us what you use, do you? You don't have to, but anyway. Okay, caught up with the comments here. That's the PC. Colin says his bald head will probably get triple the range. Cool. This is Linux Newbies, so if you have any newbies in the house, that's what we're here for. Even though we've branched off into other topics, that's all right. Those of you who missed it, replay this, and towards the beginning, and that's where I talked about the topic. So,
anyway, you guys are all the best. You know, I said that to you guys before. I mean,
thank you, Tim.
I'm just a good general user. I mean, I could take them apart and put them together and stuff, but the technical stuff that you guys do with terminal and. I mean, I could do some of that, but I want to learn Arch. I do want to learn Arch, but it's not for what I mean. I love the Ubuntu and I love the Debian based what I'm using. But you guys are just great, and you know, again, Windows and Apple, Mac, whatever. None of them have what you guys have in Linux. The community you guys have. You guys are awesome people. Just you guys.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, I know I'm in and out when I can be, but I consider you guys. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the next time we see you, then if you're going to Arch, you're going to have toothpicks wedged under your fingernails too.
I know. I just want to learn it. I just want to learn it so that it teaches me what I want to learn in depth with what I'm even doing with MX and Antics. Because that's where I'm staying. MX and Antics, I just
you like it, okay? As long as it works, that's stable, definitely stable, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to learn the other ones. I mean, you guys are again.
Thank you.
If you want to learn some Arch, start with installing like Arch Labs or something like that, and then just kind of build up your Arch knowledge a little bit from those.
Okay.
Well, I know it's rolling. Silence too. Salient. Have you seen Salient OS yet? He did a really nice job with his so far. It's still a work in progress, but it's really a nice distro.
Nice.
But I like where I'm at. I like where I'm at.
Nice.
How
long have you been using Linux now? How long, Tim? You've been using Linux now?
2014 when I started with the 14.04 Ubuntu, and what was that? Mint was what, 17.1 back then, the Cinnamon.
Nice.
I think that's what it was, 2014. So yeah, 5 years basically. And again, like I said to you something before, I'm still a noob, but I've learned so much with it compared to like the years when we were on Windows 98 and what was that, 3.1, all that. Didn't learn anything with that.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to what's gone on here with Linux, and I just think Linux is just
awesome, absolutely
incredible. And you guys, trust me, I listen to you guys. I'm subscribed to you all, of course. So when I get a notice, you know, I listen to it when I got time. And you guys are just fantastic. So
this is the Linux A team.
Well, I'm just saying. You know, I mean, you're gonna have your high tech guys that are gonna sit there and do whatever and down people, whatever. But in general, you guys are just simply fantastic in my point, and it's just greatly appreciated on my part. So from
Tim, I got a quick question. I got a quick question for you because I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I've been on an hour and a half to wrap it up. I have a quick question. Purism is going to launch the Linux phone, the Pure OS, which I think is fantastic towards the end of the year. I think it's on their website. It's on a pre-order. The problem is, well, let me ask you this: would you spend $700 on a Linux phone?
On a Linux phone?
Yeah.
Personally, for me, yes, I would. I would for Linux.
Okay.
For Linux, I would.
Okay. Fair enough.
If it was Apple,
I think they have one down as low as $5, don't they?
Let's put it this way:
I didn't see it.
Now, of course, my daughter's got to use the Apple crap.
Right.
Excuse my French.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it was Apple, no. Okay. I have an LG phone. It's 3.5, 4 years old that I still use.
Okay.
Linux, yeah, I'm all in for Linux.
Cool. Awesome.
All in for Linux.
Okay.
Sure. Well, I saw like Chris Titus sent a video about.
Well, I have to warn you because I went to the specs and the specs are not quite finalized.
Right.
It had down to storage, 32 gig. When it went down to speaker, it says at least one. Good.
Right. I mean, in time, I'm not going to do it right away.
Speaker.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
but in time, sure, I would in time, but not now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go more so there than any Apple product. So.
Fair enough.
My wife and I have, my whole family actually has iPhones. My wife and I have the iPhone 8. These are the pluses or whatever, the bigger one.
Yeah.
The 7 Plus.
Mm-hmm. We're starting to wonder about the planned obsolescence again because her and I have noticed this last week that our battery life is, and I've got mine on battery saver to boot, and I make sure I've got most of my apps shut off where she's still got probably more on than I do. And yet both of us are having the same exact issue with the battery life shortening now. And they did that the last time, but we got rid of the 6 or so. I told her, I said, we've got a little more time to go on these, and I said, when these are done, I think we're going to start considering something different. I'm just fed up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like being locked out, so I don't. I mean, I have an iPad, a mini, and there is a piece of software that I could use in Windows that I don't have to use iTunes to transfer music. Yeah. Maybe I'll show that one day, which is great because I don't want that heavy bloated stuff. I don't want it. I just want to put music on my, mini pad when I go swimming in the pool. When I go this year, it's been rainy and cold, freaking Ohio, But it's a great.
Same here. Same
here. So I don't want to be locked out. That's why I'll always stay with Android. So
Well, they like you said, they got you locked in, and it's if you want.
It's good and bad. It's good and bad. Some people don't care. They want the higher quality apps and all that. That's fine. That's good.
But if you got $2,000 for this, fine. I think it's a joke. I really do.
Oh no! Everybody pushed back at the $2,000 mark, but even what they're doing now, over $1,000, and we paid $800 for these, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Part of it is we thought it wasn't just for the phone itself, because with her being in real estate and whatever, and the camera, we're supposed they sold us on the camera features and everything else, and for her that's huge.
Right.
But is it really worth it for what we were going through with these things? I don't know. And my son, he now works for a cellular company, and he said he paid, I think, probably less than $300 or around $300, whatever it was. I don't remember, for the phone he has. Yeah, it's smaller, but he said he has no problems with it. It works great. The battery life's good. I think I don't know if, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know if it's an Apple product or not. I don't recall. But, it's a more basic model. I guess they still have them, which I'm surprised. I should be able to tell if I look on here to see if he's got FaceTime, because he does, and I don't know for sure he's got one.
Okay.
But I thought because I know he had one at one time, but he may have actually gotten rid of it. I don't know.
Well, iPhones definitely work.
They're great products. I mean, they work.
Yeah, they are.
Just like your friend Stephanie, that singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
She has to use the Apple products for what she does with her recordings.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, if you're willing to spend that kind of money for that, fine. But when their end of life happens, then you're forced to spend another $5,000.
She uses the products because of stability, and there's no issue with the updates, like say with the Windows, at least on a computer. But she also said that you pay a premium price on the phone. She didn't really say too much about the phone, but on the computer, she says, you pay a premium price, but you're not getting premium features.
Well, you're not getting
it's stable, support, but that's besides the point. Yeah.
So. And the thing about you guys, again, with Linux, I've said this in the past when we talk about support, whether it's Windows, Apple, or whatever. The support from this community overrides Apple and Windows combined. I mean, you guys are just incredible. From Biddle, I don't get out with them and stuff like that, but just listening to all of you, it's incredible the knowledge that you guys give to us newbies. Okay.
Linux knowledge has grown, has expanded the last 3, 4, 5. It's incredible,
Since I've started, I mean, I say to my sons and everybody I associate myself with, I'm a Linux guy. Period. I mean, it's incredible.
I agree.
But you guys, all of you. I mean, it goes from Colin and everybody that I see on the channels. You guys are just really good people.
I should have Mr. T as a guest for the 8th. We're talking about, fool. This is Linux 18, fool. Come here. I want to kick your butt.
Well, look what I saw a little bit this today. What was it? Destination Linux. Those guys with the Zeb down there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. You don't see that with Apple and Microsoft.
Gnostic says the new Apple cheese grater can be built for less than half the price. The computer looks like a cheese grater. That's true. Yeah.
Apple cheese grater. Computer like the baseline of that, like
boy, doesn't it look like I want to grab my fettuccine and just
Well, say that again, Tom.
The baseline of that product is $5,000. If you want that thing decked out to the max you can, I think it's $35,000 to deck that thing out, and it's still 2 years ago specs.
There's a picture of a car. I found it online, and I took a picture of their cheese grater computer, put it in the corner, and it said if Apple made cars, and it looked like a car that had the body was all holes. It looked like the cheese grater. It was the most bizarre looking thing. It was an actual car. It was a real picture of a car sitting in a parking lot. It was so bizarre. Oh God. I don't know where they're going with this stuff either. And the worst part is if you really look at the hardware, in a lot of the machines, the architecture. Now they're coming out with some, in fairness, they're coming out finally with some newer stuff and more current or whatever. But a lot of the hardware was 3-4 years old, and they were still, charging those premium prices for it.
How about the $1,000 monitor stand from Apple?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you see all the memes they were coming out with that one?
Wow.
Oh Lord.
You know what?
You talk about. See, Carm, this goes back to the point that you and many of us have talked about in the past. The biggest problem with Linux as a whole, and specifically, like even talking about Mint, because they say the same thing about Mint. The marketing, pardon my phrase, sucks. And if they would market this properly, it could be a whole different thing. So you look at what Apple's done, it's almost like, yeah, they may have a good product overall and stability and whatever else, but I'm sorry, their marketing has brainwashed people to a point too.
Look, Apple and Microsoft, they know they have very little competition from Linux. Chromebooks is great, but it's not enough. Now, maybe Google is rethinking, I don't know. But when you think about it, Apple and Microsoft, their respective hardware systems, software, whatever, they don't have competition from Linux, and they really don't on a massive scale. Right. They don't, because again, they can't walk into a freaking store and buy a machine at $400 or $500. I don't see it. And it can't be that hard.
You think other than Linux, actually Windows is the only other operating system that will run on multiple hardware setups. Where Apple's OS only runs on Apple hardware.
True.
But they set it up that way too, Dan. They wanted that proprietary. You talk about proprietary, they are really locked down. They're doing it on purpose.
That's my point. Windows is the only one you can install in any kind of PC hardware.
It's sad when, what was it, a couple months ago, some time ago, that Windows 7 usage ticked up because they don't want to go to Windows 10. That's telling. You know, it's bad. You know, but it is what it is. So until we can walk into a store and buy a machine, you know. And Windows users, if you watch this, Windows 7 expires. Don't use it. And if all you want to do is get on the web, the Chromebook is fine. Trust me, the Chromebook is perfectly fine to get on. That's all you want to do, you know.
But if you're willing to work offline, then then keep using it.
Yeah. So
you know, run it old school like it was before the internet was around. You do your tasks or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Or just don't put anything on your computer that's personal that you wouldn't want stolen.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I still wouldn't use it.
Or run it in a VM. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's really sad. That's the scary part about all of this too, with, you know, the way everything is going. Not only like Tom said, you're looking at, you know, possibly a cashless society, and you're looking at everything electronics, but, you know, think about the ramifications of that, what that's doing to society as a whole. Not only for, I'm sorry, maybe I'm off base now. I think a lot of times, as much as I'm a geek, I love technology, whatever, there's a love-hate, because I think it's really dumbing down society on another level to some extent too, because it's making, you know, everybody, adults and kids alike, but especially the kids, not use what's up here. This is the best computer, but if you don't exercise it, you don't utilize it, you know, I mean, think about how we were, you know, educated growing up, and how you had to do things. You know, I mean, even, you know, now this is a different analogy, a total different thing, but it's funny, if you ever seen this Jeff Allen, he's a comedian, and he pops up on one of the comedian channels on Facebook once in a while or whatever, and he has a skit talking about the America I grew up in. And it's the most hilarious thing. But what's funny about it is truth. You know, you talk about how the kids, you know, he said his granddaughter comes over. He said, you know, go to the park. He said she gets on a 5-foot plastic slide, and she tries to go down, and she's sticking there. It's wee papa, wee papa, wee papa. He says, we used to get on a 200 foot, whatever he said, however high, you get the gist. But, you know, metal slide, you come down, you lose 3 layers of skin. He said, the padding on the bottom was the dirt. He said, yeah, it hurt, but we all thought it was funny, you know. But the thing is and that's the point. You got to get into the dirt a little bit. You got to build your immune system. You got to get a few scrapes and bumps and bruises. Today's world, God forbid, a kid goes to school with a couple of nicks or cuts or whatever on them from playing hard. Next thing you know, you don't know if somebody's going to show up on your doorstep. And then you're worried about, are they going to get sick from something? You know, everybody's, you know, I'm not saying you don't worry about germs or things like that. But electronics isn't all that different either. You know, I mean, these kids are not having the same abilities of exercising the most powerful computer you have, and that's what's up in their stuff.
Well, there was a study done, I don't know if it's true, but 2 hours a week, 2 hours, 2 days, no, 2 hours a week out in nature, away from technology, is better for your health, and I believe it.
Oh yeah,
just to walk in the woods or swimming, I totally agree.
You know, that's why I walk through the woods almost every day.
Yeah, there's something about that connecting with that. Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, I could do it here if I wanted to. I don't. I should do it more when it doesn't rain. But yeah, totally agree. You know.
Well, how do you feel when you leave your house and you forget your cell phone at home? You feel like somebody cut off your right arm.
I know, and I've done that, but
this is true.
It's bad. Like I've gone to Kroger supermarket. Oh, I forgot my phone. I can freaking walk to the grocery. It's not that far if the car breaks down. But there was a time where I told myself, you know, I'm not going to turn it off with my phone. I don't need it to go a quarter mile down the road or whatever. It's not worth it. A half a mile, you know.
But years ago, if you broke down, you could walk to a corner.
I know. No, they still come in handy in case the car breaks emergency. No, I'm not knocking it, but to go just to the supermarket down the road, I need a phone for what?
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, let's give this the 5-minute warning because I'm starting to fade here. But anyway, if we have any last-minute questions from newbies or not, I like to end this with I asked Alexa for a Chuck Norris joke. And she says, when Chuck Norris rides a motorcycle, the motorcycle wears the helmet. That was a good one for Alexa. Yeah. So,
did you know that Chuck Norris can do a pop-up wheelie on a unicycle?
Nice. What about? Oh my. Steve, I know you were busy with your son. That's okay. Actually, my son had his wisdom teeth out this week, but he's okay. He's still swollen.
Let's call him Chippy for a week.
Yeah.
Was he talking funny afterwards with the?
He's okay. He's all right. I look like Arnold, all like Stallone. Hey, Adrian. Yeah, really. I remember when I had mine knocked out 19 years ago now. 18. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I was sore for a while, but you heal. Just watch what you eat because I think they call dry sockets after you again.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You got to eat softer food, noodles, ice cream. You got to be careful with the first week or two, or maybe even longer.
That dry socket has to do with your socket being open.
Yeah, right.
Get infection. That's
you got to watch. There you
go.
Go.
Infection.
But I will tell you, I've had mine out, one in the back corner and the bottom out for a couple, 3 years now, or whatever it is. And every so often, if I bite something the wrong way back there, it still hurts because you're right on the jaw.
Right. Colin, how's it going? Chuck Norris built the hospital he was born in. Nice. I like that. Good one, yeah.
Well, I want to appreciate everything again, Toss. Carmine.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for supporting the channel. Always, like I said, this one was for you. I know you missed it. Just replay it back when you have time. Yeah,
it's for everybody. Trust me.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
I will always continue to contribute to you guys. Again, you guys have become my computer Linux family, friends, and I think you guys are all basically incredible people. So. Thanks again to all of you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. So, by the way, Tim.
Yes.
I heard you were going to try Arch.
Well, I want to learn it. It's just install. I mean, it's that. My days are so busy when I'm gone. I mean, I'm gone 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
couple pieces of advice from when I was tearing my hair out, trying to figure out how to install Arch.
Mm-hmm.
Try to look at the wiki, but. Right. Also follow some YouTube videos. Make sure they're as up to date as they can, because if you're watching like an outdated YouTube video, some of the tools might not be in the newer ISOs, and some of the things might not work the way
because they continue to upgrade. What is it, every month, once a month?
Every month there's a new snapshot ISO comes out.
Right. Well, guys, I'm using the 5.1.2 kernel on this Antics that I'm using on this, and it works flawlessly on this old machine.
Mine just went to 5.1.10.
Okay.
Today it updated. Yesterday it was on. Yesterday I updated to 5.1.9. Today updated to 5. It's like every day there's a new kernel out.
I mean, for this thing, because the 4.14 worked beautifully on this, and then when I went to 4.15, 18, it was terrible, and then. Of course, my MX on my other machines they just fly, but the 5.1.2 works really good on this. This is an old laptop. This is an old Dell laptop.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a YouTube channel called LearnLinux.tv.
Yes, Jason, Jay.
Yeah,
right.
Jay.
His name's Jay.
He just did a whole series on installing Arch on a EFI system.
And, I was watching part of that.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you. Yes, happy Father's Day, by the way. Before I end the.
Yes.
And the broadcast, I'm going to end it here in a sec, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
To all of you.
I'm very lucky, very happy to be a daddy, so it's quite an experience, a lot of good memories. So happy Father's Day to all of you. Whether you use Linux or not, that's besides the point. Happy Father's Day.
But anyway, Benjamin, back to your point.
Okay. Cheers, everybody in the chat. Bye-bye.
The one reason was to just to learn